So I thought it would be helpful here to think about adaptation and fan fiction as music, okay? Like, what do we value in music? So this video I'm going to play, you probably have heard this piece before. A couple of you probably are familiar with Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. This specific part is Ode to Joy. And we notice that there's a lot of people playing, but the important part is not who's playing it, but the piece of music. Okay? So that's what we're really concerned with in classical music, right? We don't care about the performance, we care about who composed it. So here is that piece. Okay, so you're familiar with that piece. And again, that's what we value here. All right, so the next example, I'm going to get into more pop music, right? In the classical, we looked at the writer was most important. And now we're going to look at performance. And we're going to look at what is an adaptation of something and what might be considered a fan fiction, okay? And I hope this will help you kind of differentiate everything. So Killing Me Softly was a song written by Lori Lieberman. It's got a really interesting history. Now, I wasn't familiar until I started to research this, that this was the original. Okay, I'm more familiar with one of the later versions. So what I want you to do is listen and think about, it's the same song. I'm going to play 3 different versions, but who we care about is who performed the song, not the song itself. Okay, so I'm going to play this for you now. Okay, so I hope maybe you've heard that song before, but in a different version. So we're going to look at 2 other versions of this song. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this Roberta Flack version next. And I'm going to argue that this reimagines the song. This version is definitely an adaptation of that original. You're going to see she slows it down, lets the song breathe a little more, and that definitely changes the mood and the way that we hear the song. So I'm going to play that for you now.
Strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song.
Okay. So, what you might find interesting was this version is what made the song famous. The original did not make this song famous. So, it was this performance that really changed it, right? And we see, it's not the song that's important here, it's the performance. And, she rearranges the song. She adds that kind of minor at the end of the chorus that gives it that kind of bittersweet mood. So it's much different than what we just heard. And now I'm going to show you the last version, which I'm going to argue is more of kind of a fan fiction example. It's not quite an adaptation. So it's more attuned to what we would think of American Idol version. Okay, so here is our final version, and this is the Fugees. This is where I first listened to this song, and if you ignore the new interjection of the rap choruses, and you just kind of focus on Lauryn Hill's lyrics, you can hear it's gonna be very similar to that last version that we just heard. So I'm gonna play that for you now.
With his fingers, singing my life with his blood, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song.
Yo, this is why Clef represents Risewell, little bass sitting up here on the bass. While I'm on this road, I got my girl L. One time, hey yo L, you know you got the lyrics.
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style, and so I came to see him
Okay, so you can hear that it is redoing that second version. Now, the reason why we wouldn't call this a fan fiction is because what we value, okay? Like I said in the beginning, pop music, we value performance. Classical music, we value who wrote it. So it's the same in fan fiction, right? Fan fiction is like a classical example, where we really value who wrote it and who transforms it enough, then we're okay with. But if someone just kind of quote unquote re-performs the text, we don't find that very compelling. And so yet it becomes fan fiction. It becomes, what we've considered to be less than art. And, if you think about it as music, right, the Fugees version really was incredibly popular. And, if we can just begin to value the performance of writing, right, what that piece does rather than where it came from, I think we can start to view fan fiction and adaptation a little different. But that's where I think you're all confused, is we value things differently. And I think a lot of us that enjoy fan fiction value fan fiction more than other people do.